Hello, everybody. This is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. I was once at a funeral, and the preacher, the priest who was preaching, said that in order to get to heaven, you have to do good in this life. And I believe that's something that's important to do. And I believe most people believe that same thing, that if I do good, I will get to heaven. But unfortunately, that's not the teaching of the Bible. In Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 through 10, Paul says very clearly, "For it is by grace," that means God's mercy, "we have been saved through faith, and that not of ourselves." It's the gift of God. God gives us the gift of faith. And then he says, "not of works." Works are good things we do. "Not of works, so that no one may boast." So we're not saved by doing good things. And actually, I became a Christian when I heard another priest preaching that message from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8 through 10, because I thought I was a good person. And God opened that word to my heart in that moment. I was 31 years old. I was doing good as I knew it. And I realized that my heart, at its root, was wicked, was deceitfully wicked. I was selfish. My root motivation in life was me, selfishness. And even though I did good things, I would not be going to heaven. So I accepted Jesus's offer of salvation. I had to admit, I am a sinner. I can't earn my way into heaven. I don't deserve it. And I believed that. I received that. And God saved me. Now I have the assurance that I will be saved. I will go to heaven. And Jesus, in the book of Matthew, towards the end, he's going into great lengths to teach his disciples and you and me some basic realities. I wouldn't even call these doctrines. They are realities. The reality he's teaching them is that he's going to die, he's going to be crucified, dead, buried to pay the price for sin. He's going to ascend into heaven, and then he's coming back again. And when he comes back again, he's coming in judgment to judge everybody. And he could come at any time. It's imminent. You will be there. I will be there. And he's given us like 3 stories. He's been teaching it. Matthew 24, 25. He's been giving us the teaching. And he's giving us 3 stories that a child could understand. And this story for today is one about sheep and goats. And a farmer who is separating them from the sheep from the goats. And he says, the Son of Man, which is him, Jesus, will come in his glory with the angels. He'll be seated on his throne, and all the people will be gathered before him. All of them. You will be there. I will be there. You may not believe in God's judgment, but you'll be there. And then you remember, I remember that video. Told me about it. So there's no excuse. No one has any excuse. I will be there. You will be there. And then the one on the throne, Jesus, will start separating people as a farmer, as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. The sheep go on the right side of the shepherd, and the goats on the left. Let me give you a little bit of a hint. It's not good in the Bible to be a goat. It's not good. It's good in the Bible to be a sheep. It's not good in the Bible to end up on the left side. it's good to end up on the right side. So he's separating all the people into two groups. Then he's going to say to those on the right, these are the sheep. This is the good part of the story. Come, you who are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. Then verse 35 of Matthew 25, he says, For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, you looked after me. I was in prison, you came to visit me. Okay, so he said, you did all these things to me. And then they will say, when did we see you sick or in prison or needing clothes or hungry? And he will say to them, truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. The idea was whatever you do for other people, particularly the broken, the poor, the lost, it's as if you're doing them for Jesus. And then he turns to the goats, the ones on the left. And he says, basically, you're going to hell. You're going to go to hell in the fire prepared for the devil and his angels. Read it. That's the exact language. And then he says, because I was hungry, you didn't give me anything to eat. I was thirsty, you didn't give me anything to drink. I was in prison, didn't visit me, I had clothes, etc., etc., etc. They didn't do it. And they're stunned. They say, when did I see you hungry or thirsty? Through all those categories. And he says in Matthew 25, verse 45, he will reply, truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me. So we read that. Incredible story, simple story. So what's the conclusion? Do good to other people and you will go to heaven. Right? That's what it teaches. But that's not what the Bible teaches. It's not do good, you go to heaven. So what's going on here? And I believe it's very clear if you look at verse 40. The answer for the people on the right, the people who did good, and the answer, the people on the left. So the ones on the right, this is what they say in verse 44. They also will answer, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger and needing clothes, sick, etc., and help you? And then the ones on the left, they have the same question. When did we see you hungry or thirsty, etc., and did not help you? That's verse 37 and verse 44. They're both confused. When did we see you do that? So the people who did good, catch this now, they were not doing good so they could go to heaven. They were not doing good so they could go to heaven. They were doing good because their heart compelled them to do good. Something had happened to their heart. The ones on the left, the ones who end up in hell, they didn't see Jesus. Maybe if they would have said, well, the purpose of judgment is what's going to happen at judgment. If we don't give poor people food, we're going to go to hell. So they would start giving poor people food. But that's not the point. The point, it comes from the heart. The people who did it didn't do it so they could get to heaven. They did it because their heart was, they had God's heart in them. And when you have God's heart, it's a heart of compassion for others, a heart of mercy for others, a heart of love for the unlovable. And they had that heart. And so when Jesus said that to them, you gave me food. They said, when did we give you food? It's because their heart, they didn't do it so they could get a reward. They did it because that was the nature of their heart. And listen, I know more than anyone else, my heart is selfish. Something has to happen to my heart to make me compassionate, to make me loving, to make me care. And what has to happen is Jesus has to change my heart and give me a new heart. And that is what will get us to heaven, a new heart. And how do we get a new heart? Same thing as what happened to me. Come to Jesus. God, change me. Forgive me. Take out my selfishness. And he comes in. He changes our heart. And we do good works. Not so we can be saved, but we do good works because it flows out of our heart. We're no longer selfish, but God has changed our heart and we help others. So I hope that helps you. And if you need God to change your heart, listen, don't just start to do good. Well, think you're going to be saved because you do good. You're not. It's your heart. But ask God to change your heart. Change my heart, O God. Make it ever true. May I be like you. And when he does that in you, you'll be one of the sheep on the right side of the throne. So God bless you, and I will see you on Monday.